Start. Good evening, everyone. This is the Animesh, Sinha, a psychologist and career counseling, and really delighted that you people have joined this session. Though the presence is still very less, but would like to have more presence in another few minutes or so. So before it, let me set the agenda for this webinar. Uh, so you must be knowing about or heard about the career counseling. So it is basically uh, three things we are going to have this in this session. One is what is career counseling. Second is why are we going to do this. Third, how we do it. Fourth is what's benefit are you going to reap out of it. So there are four things which will be answered in this, and the last session of this particular webinar will be question and answer. So more or less, it is all about an hour or so, though we have 1 hour 30 minutes because question and answer sessions, if more people can join. Uh, so whenever you have a question, you just write it down this chat box so that we can uh, see that question and I'll answer you. Fine during the question answer session. So let's start. I'm going to share uh, my screen. There are certain things. I hope everyone can able to view it. Ravana, Veda. Fine. So let's start this. You know that career is really a serious business right now. It's not a kind of thing which we used to have 20 years, 25 years back. There are lots of avenues which has come up. And with that avenues, we need to understand ourselves as well, that whether am I good into this or am I not? How are you going to do that? So there are lots of questions on this, and I'm going to answer through this session. So the first starting point is the career is a serious business. So there are certain questions which arises. Okay, as I said, I put across the agenda for this session that what is career? Can anyone can tell me what is career? Career is something. Okay, let me. Career is something. It's a calling. It's a passion which comes from within. Now this passion comes from within. When I say it has two aspects. One, influenced by someone. Second, really I'm good into it. One, influenced by someone. Second, really am I good into it? Because the environment we live in, the people whom we interact, where we go, we have lots of influence from this outside world, which we get. So we need to understand that in this competitive world, in this world, whether am I good in certain kind of a career or not. Career is not chosen just because of as I wanted to do. Whether I'm fit for that particular career or I'm not fit for that particular, right? So this is what career is all about. It's a calling from inside, but there must be a scientific method to understand that whether you are good for certain things or you're not good for certain. So I'm sharing the screen just for you guys. Okay. So how many do you think that career counseling is really needed only after class 10? Anyone can just put across in chat box to want, they can write it down there. Okay. Do you think that there's this particular question which arises, because I've been doing this career counseling, thousands of students I have covered. And the things comes from the parents as well, saying that, do you think career counseling is needed only after class 10? And they believe that, okay, why do we need now? We need it after class 10. Still time is there. Still time is there. So we need after class 10. Some are very sure, no, I'm good in it, so I'm going to do this. Some parents are also very sure that, okay, my son is going to do this because I have asked them to do this. And the question arises, do we really have 20, 25 years back this kind of a career counseling in our schools, in our colleges and all? No, hardly. Maybe someone has gone to some individual career counselor. They may get this option. Otherwise, school, colleges, they don't have. That time it was a kind of a survival. We need to understand whether we need to survive or we need to thrive. Survival means any job, anything which you go in 4 or 5 years and then over. After that, what? Because you are not progressing in that particular career. You don't want to excel in that. You don't want to learn other things and all. Just because you don't have that interest left in you. You have chosen certain career for certain reason. Okay, I'm going to earn something in this. Good earning will be there. But when it comes for the progress, whether you are progressing in that particular career, is a question mark after 4, 5, 6 years. So that's very, very important. I'll go ahead with this. So first thing, the first question arises, why do we need career counseling? Think one, we need career counseling. One, because we need to have an informed decision. You go somewhere, you buy a TV, you buy a car, you go, you research, you do that. Okay, this car is good, this is good, this XYZ, all parameters are good or not. And then you are going to buy a car. And this is a life. Car is not going to be a life. This is a life. And how much are you investing seriously on your life? That's the reason career counseling required. There is no certain age limit for career counseling. If you are studying in class 6, 7, I'm going and go and see that whether you are good in your skills. 9, 10, whether you are good in skill, because that is the point where you need to select your streams. What will you do after 10? I heard many of the parents who come and say that, no, let them study till 12th science. Reason was really absurd. They can go anywhere. What about the child? The child come and say separately to me that I'm struggling to understand what science is. He lost his 2 years for just one reason, because somebody else wanted him to study without having any scientific backup. So it's very important. There is no limit, as I said. There are different points for different stages, and we do this analysis based on which stage you are in. Are you in XYZ stage? So for you, this is the thing. Lots of myths. I'm going to choose this career because it has lots of money. Fine. I'm going to choose this career because my hobby cannot be a career. Okay. If I change my career option, my skill will go to West. My sister is studying this, my brother is studying this, my friend is studying this, so am I. All I have to do is pick any occupation, things will fall into place. That's what we used to do previously. Fine. There is engineering, there is medical, law. Go inside and do. But in today's world, even in engineering, you have a multiple streams. Are you really good in that particular stream or not? Don't you want to understand that? Hey, I'm really good in IT, but in IT, I'm really good in management, or I'm really good in data science, or I'm really good in business side. Where am I going to fit in? So it's very important to break this myth and come out of this. And how are you going to break this myth? We are going to break this myth with certain analysis. If I am there in certain uh, environment, I'll start thinking like that. Okay, they are like this. Okay, I'll be also like this. Is this the reason of choosing a career? Is it the right way of choosing the career? Everyone knows in today's changing world, the things are changing abruptly. We need to understand our skill. We need to understand where is my gap. And for that reason, career counseling is required to break this myth. To have an informed decision, to take an informed decision, we need to have a information. We are talking about AI. We write certain things and it gives us result. How? Because the data has been fed into that. It's fed into it. Trillions of data. Someone says, okay, I become an AI. You need to understand to become an AI engineer what you're supposed to be. I become a doctor. You need to understand whether which kind of a doctor are you going to be. Are you going to be a trauma doctor? Are you going to be a surgeon? Are you going to be a physician? Because three different doctors have a three different traits. Are you going to be a teacher? People think like, okay, if you take arts, you become a teacher. That's it. Why such? You become a cartographer, just taking arts, geography. Study geography and become a cartographer. You are good in statistics and maths, it doesn't mean that you become an engineer. But how do I know whether I'm really good into it because I'm doing that maths? I used to question in most of the schools and colleges where I go based on their stage, a simple question of class 10. How much is 20 plus 25? They say 45. The moment I ask, how much is 4 tens plus 5 ones? They fumble. Reason behind it, our brain is really analytical, or we are putting a huge amount of effort and saying 20 plus 25 is 45, but could not able to understand the same question in a different way. Am I really good for that competitive world? So there is a gap in skill. How do I know that? Whether there is a gap in skill? So that's the reason we need to have a counseling. Career counseling is not about reading a report. It's about understanding a person and understanding self. Sometimes we get influenced for certain reason and we start thinking like we will be doing. And after 1 year, after 6 months, we see that, okay, that is not good. Let me move ahead and let's start doing something else. Why there is an abrupt changes? Is because you have never understood yourself. That's very important to understand this. Ourselves at least. So there are certain questions which arises. As I said, why expectation at an early age? First, right guidance. Let's have an informed decision. And for informed decision, informed data you must be having. You want to go from A to B. What do? You open your GPS and you know that, okay, this kilometer, that kilometer, why? Why don't you stop, close it, and then go? As we used to do 15 years back, 20 years back. We used to ask people one after another on the road. There are lots of hindrance before reaching a 1 hour journey and making it to a 2 hours journey. Because we need to. The moment you have this data beforehand, makes your life easier and you can use your time for certain other things. And that's how the time management, it helps in your time management. So career counseling is not only about the career, it's also about your emotional well-being, also about the time management, how you are managing your emotions during the failure, how you are managing your time under pressure. This is a story. A person started his career to become an engineer. But he got a chance in medicine. He took medicine, but didn't and left it. After that, he realized, no, he's good in technical. He started doing that. He completed that. Then he realized, I'm really good in the human side also. Then he did a master's in psychology. He worked for many years. Then he realized, okay, I'm good in business. He did some MBA. What it says. And during course of time, he lost 2 to 3 years. The most important thing is time. You're losing your time. So that's very important. So getting the right guidance, understanding what my interest is really in a scientific way, what's my strength and weakness, the SWOT analysis. Understanding your strength, weakness, and then finding out the opportunities and the threats. And that will give us, a kind of informed data to have an informed decision. And it will open up the opportunities for us. Yes, I'm good in these 2, 3 things. Let me go ahead and do, and there won't be any confusion regarding it. And that's the reason whether we should start in class 8 or 9 or 10, this career counseling, yes, we should. It's not early stage. As I said, it's not only about choosing the job, it's not only about, because when you start making a home, what do you do? There is a base of it. It needs to be strong. And that's what we do. We can, once we understand, we align our academics towards our goal and better prepare for the future. The question arises, a person who scored 91% in any competitive exam and he get a rank in that, and person who secured
Funny or
90 point, yeah,
funny or another?
a person who secured 90.9%, but he didn't get into that. Does this mean that that person got 91%? There is a huge difference between these two guys. It's a difference of 0.1%. And that 0.1% makes the make or break the things. How do you understand? If you are well prepared before it, you are well ahead, just 0.1%, and you are getting into it. You can understand better your skill set beforehand, and so that you can move ahead accordingly. Similarly, students can ask, so these are the answers for that. They can by themselves take a data-driven decision. They can reduce their confusion. Okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay, tomorrow I'll do this. No. Remove your stress after this. You understood that this is my skill. There is a gap. I have to fill in that gap. And that filling of the gap of due to with these things, if I take steps. So career counseling tells about that also. There is a gap and you have to do this, which boosts your confidence. And stop making mistakes of that 2-3 years, losing your 2-3 years. You will understand the different exams, you will understand the different scholarship exams as well, which are going on. This for the students. So the parents always ask this. We know what my son is going to do. Very nice. Very nice. But son wants to do or daughter wants to do something else. And there is a conflict arises. How will you bridge that gap? Through this. You being a parent, you can understand your child after this. Then you decide. You as a student, you can understand your strengths and weaknesses. And then you decide. It can be parents can be a supporters, cannot be a and or an enabler, cannot be a hindrance in anyone's career. It can be a collaborative approach, and that's what the counselor does. Creating a safe environment. When you have this safe environment, you'll get time to study hard. And once you get your time to study hard, you will be in 91%, not in 90.9%. Because anyhow, competitive exams are based on merit. What you are going to get, the score. But it doesn't mean there are huge difference between these two guys. No. And there are schools who can understand to bridge this gap, who can improve in their own curriculum that, okay, students need these things. They are good in bookish maths, but they need this. They are good in English but in competitive English, they are a problem. They can start doing, they can prepare the students in that manner. Most of the students are introvert kind of people, but they are creating themselves in that sense. The schools are not preparing sometimes that the students can talk fluently with anyone. There are lots of hindrances in their mind. And because of this reason, this career counseling is required. So I hope I have answered this particular question, because always it comes in our mind that why do we need this? In India or abroad, 95% of these students, schools don't have the career counselor. They have academic counselor. And please don't mix or confuse with academic and the career counselor. If students are confused about their career path, almost 85%, they don't know what they need to do. They are influenced with XYZ. But 350 million, this is the data which has been surveyed, and India is among the top 6 countries for people having a career dissatisfaction. Do you know that? And why these things are happening? Because we have chosen a career which is based on the influence of certain things. So in this state we are in. So anyone having any questions right now, they can. Okay, I'm seeing one chat here. Okay, fine. So you can always write it down in chat box if anyone having any questions, queries. And this is where the counselor role comes in. They guide you through the complex process of career development. Any career goal has been defined, outlining its purpose and highlighting its benefits. So that's very important. Being an individual, you can gain a better understanding of how career counseling can positively impact. This is very important. These things are very, very important. And that's the reason we need this career counseling. Do you know that the entire job has been clustered into 20 different clusters, career clusters? And it has been divided into 160 plus career paths. And that's been divided into 3,000 occupations and further divided into 12,000 plus profiles. You need to know in which I am good. Can you able to find out of these 3,000 occupations? For this reason, career counselor required. It's very, very important to understand the reality and the expectations. It's a serious business in the beginning, as I said. It's really a serious business where we need to understand what is our expectation. Our expectation is always be a straight line, but the reality is a mess. We need to pass through lots of hindrances, lots of blockages, lots of humps before reaching A to B. And this career counseling helps you to understand this reality. And there, career counselor helps you. What we do exactly before going into this, Career counseling is based on different aspects. How are you going to assess you? On 120, 130 parameters, we are going to assess you. On broader side, if I say your genetical stuff, that is your personality. Your interest, your motivational factors, your learning styles, all these things somewhere map with genetics. So once we understand those things, once we map all these things, it comes to around 720 combinations. You are one of them. And based on this particular thing, if you choose your career, I'm good into it. And the fifth one is more or less is you yourself. What's that? That's your skill and ability. Where do you stand at this particular time? As I have given an example from this back, that once I ask the student how much is 20 plus 25, they can say very clearly, okay, why? It is 45. The moment I ask 4 tens plus 5 ones, they fumble. Why such? Why such? It's very, very important to understand that particular thing. Because as a person, my brain is not analytical. Even if your brain is analytical, as I said, you want to become a scientist, but you have no skill. And that's the reason the fifth thing which we see is that skill and ability. Skill and ability. In the skill and ability, we try to understand your analytical, your mathematical, your verbal, communication skill, your spatial skill, everything. A person who has good in visualization, they can go into certain career. So these 5 broad things on which we go and assess students. And it gives us a very clear picture of ourselves that, okay, I'm like this, and this is really good for us. The question arises, in 30 minutes test, how can you decide? Yes, do it once. Because it's been tested since ages. It's almost 300, 400 years. There are certain things which has been used in these methods to understand the person. So it's very important for us to understand our skill. Now, if I'm good in this, I'm not studying, my skill is now this, fine. Still, I have time, 5 months. If the recommendation has come from counselor saying that you do X, Y, Z, you can improve your analytical skill, you can improve your strategical skill. It's not only about the student, the professionals who are affected with mid-career crisis. They also come to me and then they ask, what am I good in? So that I can change our career. It's very important to understand those aspects of this. Now, this broad 5 things, underneath, we have 120, 130 different questions. And that question, once you answer, it's a very simple thing which we ask. We do the analysis of those things and then come up with certain results. So career counseling is not something, lots of a myth is there that counselor means a psychologist, a psychologist. Why do we go there? We know everything. Why do we go to a psychologist? No. Psychologist to understand a person, counselor, career counselor is to give you a right path that you can choose this. So what we do? It is we try to do a pre-counseling stuff before going into this multi-dimensional psychometric assessment. Multi-dimensional psychometric assessment is a scientific approach, which is what I have. Once anyone completes that, then we do the analysis and then go ahead with the post-counseling session. This is the process which we follow. And during the post-counseling session, we try to discuss, we try to align your strength and ability so that you can be better engaged in your career. So very important, all these things, all these aspects when we choose our career. So I think people have understood certain things that why do we need this? How are we choosing? How I as a counselor can tell you that, okay, these things are good for you. As I said, the personality, interest, learning style, career values, and motivational factor, skill and ability. These five different parameters are broad parameters on which psychometric assessment will be taken. We know lots of career, as I said, the new age career with the advent of this AI. But really, am I good into that? What are the different career options do I have? I understand statistics and maths very nice. Don't like physics and chemistry. You really need to be an engineer? No. You can be an actuarial scientist. You understand maths better. You understand finance better. You can be a forensic accountant. These are all new age career, which I'm talking about. Because new age career is always integrated with the technology. It is always integrated with the technology. It can give you a kind of a flexibility to work from outside, from here, from there, XYZ places, a global opportunities. Most of you understand that, okay, fine, these 7, 8 things are there. No. As I said, there are 3,000 different career options. You are studying what you are studying biology, right? You can become a microbiologist, you can be a biotechnologist, you can go into a pharma. You can become an oceanographer, you can become a marinologist. So there are so many different options which you have where you can go ahead and do it. How will you get into this? What are the different colleges do we have in India as well as in abroad? Again, without getting confused, you'll get those options and be a counselor can help you in that. That these are the exams and these are the colleges. This is what the cutoff. So, career counselor is a holistic approach of choosing a career. And hardly it takes 35 minutes of an assessment where we can go ahead, give that assessment from anywhere and come back so that it can be analyzed in a proper way. So these are the important aspect of career counseling. I just want to have this webinar, a brief webinar where I can say that what is it, why do we need this, what we do, how do we assess, so that I can able to answer lots of people who are having this kind of a confusion. More or less, it's almost 50 minutes of this session. And since participants are less, I can go ahead and ask you guys now, can we have your questions? Any kind of a questions if you have, you just either you can unmute yourself and then ask the question or write it into the chat box so that it can be answered. So we'll wait for another 2-3 minutes. If somebody is having any questions, they can come up with that, your questions, or we can close this session. Anyone having any question, Veda or anyone, whomsoever? Fine, thanks for joining. I think we can close this. It was a brief session, webinar, to let them understand that what is this career counseling, how we assess. I think that we can further close the session. And one important aspect which I would like to tell you that it starts with, as I said, from class 8 to for till the professionals. So anyone can have that. Okay. So fine. Thank you. Thanks for attending. Let me close this session now. Okay. I have fine. Okay. There is a question how to analyze a child interest towards a particular career. It's not only about the child interest. Interest can be developed because of XYZ influence also. It is linked with the personality, the interest and all. When we do this analysis with the psychometric assessment, we come to understand under interest, there are many things. There are 9 different parameters. Whether you are good in outdoor stuff, good in sitting to the desk and working, are you an adventurous person? If someone is an introvert as a person and you ask them to go and do a marketing job, what will happen? So analysis being done by the psychometric. Once we do this psychometric assessment, we start and we understand this. Once we map your personality with interest, with the environmental factors and all, we map those, and as I said, 720 mappings we do. Before we say that, okay, fine, this is what. Not only one parameter interest, there'll be certain other things also included in that. Okay. I hope I have answered. Anyone else? Enrollment of assessment, we have a site www.yoursjourney.com. There is a free pre-counseling session. You can go there, book your timing slots, and after the pre-counseling session, the assessment link will be opened up for you. For that particular, if you are in which stage, and then we can just go to www.yoursjourney.com and you'll find there, book a slot, and there also psychometric assessment link is there. You need to understand that at which stage you are in, and for that particular reason, we say that we can have a pre-counseling session and then you go ahead. Otherwise, you can take a test of or assessment of something else, XYZ, not the correct one. Okay. Anyone else? Fine. So we can close this session now if no one else is having any questions. Thank you. Thanks a lot for attending this session. Let me stop sharing. Thanks, everyone. Let me end the session now.